most people are going to waste Claude Fable, not because the model is bad, no, but it's because everyone's using it like a chat GPT. They would just open it, they would type in a prompt like, hey, build me this dashboard, build me this app, and they expect something special to come out of it. But the thing is, that's not how you're supposed to use it. Like, it's not just a chatbot that can give you quick answers. Fable is not just a chatbot to give you quick answers. It's built to solve the most complex problem that your business hasn't solved. Things like planning, strategy, architecture, complex problems. And the thing is this, right? The real power, I want to show you some examples, by the way, on how I found this as well. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can use Claude Fable and how to get better results without wasting too much money on unnecessary credits and tokens. With that being said, let's get into the video. So what exactly is Claude Fable? So Claude Fable is the Claude's latest model that was released. So Claude Mythos has been like, it's everyone's so scared about Mythos and they didn't even release Mythos, and Claude Fable is a safe version of Mythos, and it's supposed to be the most complex, the most advanced model out there and the most expensive model out there. The thing is, how do you best use Fable? How is it different to the other stuff that you already use on a daily basis? The only thing you need to know is this. Claude is absolutely good for solving complex problems, and especially when the task is not fully clear. You just give it a goal, it's going to do everything. It's extremely good at deploying sub-agents, and that's coming directly from Claude itself. If you go to the Claude docs, this one right here, it says that Claude is extremely good. Claude is extremely good at creating parallel sub-agents. So it can just give it. So this is what Claude says: give it a task, tell it exactly what you're trying to get for, what are your intentions, and boom, it's going to solve the most complex problems out there, find bugs, and do a bunch of other stuff. And I'm going to show you one quick example. I'm going to show you one quick example. So I was testing out Claude. I want to see exactly which Claudes are performing better. And one of the simple stuff that I do on a day-to-day basis, it's somewhat simple but not too simple. Alright guys, so I want to show you exactly the difference between these two prompts, right? So basically, I gave it a prompt saying that, hey, I got this inquiry from a lead, can you please create a quick response for me? And the thing is, most of the time, whenever I use this prompt, right, the AI just doesn't think for itself. It gives me some basic generated response, and oftentimes I just don't use it. I just write it on my own, because the thing is, they don't think about certain things. They don't think about the limitations of certain tools. They just don't think. They just, absolutely, we can do it for you. So I tested it with Opus, right? Opus, it gave me a very quite lengthy text, like, hey, we can do this, these are all the things that we can do, and that's that, right? I don't want to read much into it, because what I want to show you is not exactly the effectiveness of the copy, but the way it thinks. So now let's go back to Fable. Same prompt, same message, everything is the same, but look at this, right? So it clearly, it said that, hey, this thing that you requested, it can't exactly be done by this tool. But the thing is, there are other ways we can do it for you guys. So it's that, hey, this is not exactly part of the process. This can't be done because there is no API, but that's totally fine. But we can still figure it out. But in here, it failed to do so. It failed to tell the client that, hey, there are some limitations that you need to be aware of. Now, why am I showing you this? It's for the fact that it's able to think for itself. It's able to reason by itself and solve problems for you before you even know it existed. So that's why Fable is comparatively much better than Opus. So the conclusion we came to is Fable is not just better at solving problems. It's absolutely good in terms of understanding what needs to be solved and then do it for you before you even ask it. That's what I love about Fable, right? And I've done a bunch of tests, by the way. I've even created an interactive website I'm going to show you towards the end of the video. Please stay till then. Now the question is, when do you really need to use Fable, right? Because you've seen sometimes it thinks of by itself, sometimes it is complex stuff, but when do you really need to use it? From my understanding, right, it's often good to use it for the most complex stuff where you need that oomph to it. What the hell do you mean, Fahad, by the oomph to it? I want to show you a quick example, right? Let me quickly show you an example. I'm going to show you these two websites I've built, okay? 2 pitch decks I've built. Both same prompt, same messaging, everything is the same. But the only difference is we use different models. So I'm not going to tell you which one it is, right? You see, look at this. This is super duper polished, right? It looks super cool. It's quite interactive. It has the text going on. I asked it to make a pitch deck. Like, hey, make a pitch deck for my business. So you see, this is quite decent, right? It's somewhat interactive, looks pretty clean, appealing to the eyes, have certain numbers, do certain things. I can click on certain numbers. Quite good. It is interactive, right? I can click on these items, quite interactive. Let's go to this options right here. Now, off the bat itself, right? Although I loved the first design, I could see some sort of blurriness. Right? I could see something feels a bit off. I don't know. This looks much cleaner than this option. So it's much cleaner. And if I go forward, I don't know how to describe it for you guys, but you guys can see it, right? You guys can see the difference between the change in designs. It's not too complex, it's not too much, but the thing is, there is clearly an edge. It's clearly, this looks high, like it's like 4K HD TV. This is like a lesser version, a poor person's 4K HD TV. Yeah, I could see the difference. The copy is a bit too much. I could, like, when you see stuff like this, it's so clear. It's like it's Claude stuff, but Fable, it is much better. Short text, only kept what is needed. So that's what I love about. I did love this feature though. That's super cool. That's what I love about Fable. So it's that small difference in how it's concise. It's small. It's easier. Even this has better. It is the same thing. So it's that clear small improvements that makes it a bit better. So oftentimes what I recommend when to use Claude is when you're creating some sort of designs that needs to have the best of the best model out there. So it needs to have that edge over the designs. It needs to have an edge over the strategy. If you're creating a pricing model and it's super complex, you want some outcome done, and you want Fable to do the thinking and get the stuff done. Creating architecture, reviewing code and finding bugs is extremely good in that. Reviewing and creating long proper SOP documents. So these are the things I would use Fable for. But because the thing is, for anything else, like creating simple emails, making simple lessons, drafting some sort of content or copywriting, I wouldn't use Fable. Why is that? Because I'm going to show you one thing, right? This is going to be your best friend moving forward. It's called artificialanalysis.ai. This is an independent analysis tool that independently all AI tools and publishes its results. You see, Fable is the most expensive tool there. It costs 2.75 of, that's the token cost. The token cost is $2.75 compared to all the other models. You see, it's $1, 0.59. I personally use Minimax. That's what I use. Although I was born in Saudi, my parents are from India. So, my roots can't let me spend more unnecessarily. So, I can't do it. It's look at the cost of it. It's like 10, is it 10 times or 20? It's 20 times. But I'm getting some somewhat similar outputs, right? If you look at the intelligence, Minimax is right around there. Where the hell is Minimax? It's right around there, right? So even the new Soul by GPT, it's like, a third of the cost, but it's like 1 point behind Fable. So why would he spend so much extra money for some simple tasks? So only for the most complex, where you want the edge, like things like architecture, SOP, designing of code or pitch decks or branding strategy and stuff like that, is when I would use Fable. Yeah. Now the next question is, now that you've seen what Fable could do, how do you effectively prompt it? How do you get the best? How do you avoid the mistakes most people are using? So the way you can create a kick-ass prompt, this is coming directly from Claude itself. So what Claude says is the best way to prompt Fable is by first, number one, is giving it a specific goal. If you tell that, hey, my goal is to create a pitch deck, when you specify a goal, right, Fable is going to do everything it can to achieve that particular goal. It's not gonna, you don't have to give it too much instructions. You don't have to see too many things. Just, hey, this is the goal, get the shit done. It is going to get that shit done. So giving goal-based prompting is the best way to do it. For example, hey, I am trying to raise funds of $10 million, and my target market, my people I'm trying to target as VCs. Your goal is to give me the best pitch deck that shows that my company is above average compared to all the competitors in this space. So you give it a particular goal, and then it's going to do wonderfully for you. And the next thing that Claude directly suggests is, don't add too much information. If you add too many steps, too many tasks, too many checklists for it to fill, too much information is going to make it perform less. That's coming directly from Claude itself. If you go to the website, don't try to give it more information. Try to restrict, like, hey, this is the task. Make it one sentence, one-shot prompting. According to Claude itself, Fable is much better for one-shot prompting. What is one-shot prompting? One shot, you prompt it, it gets the output right away instead of having to go multiple times. So it's extremely good in that. So the third step, a very interesting step that I haven't seen a lot of AI do these days, is you can control the depth at which it performs. What do I mean by that? When you Fable, like, hey, I want the best output for this. I want you to do everything you can to get me this result. So do all the proper research. It's going to go in depth to get that stuff. But if you like, hey, I don't want you to do it, don't spend too much time on it, give me a quick stuff, it's gonna quickly summarize something for you. Now why is this helpful? So you don't have to spend unnecessary cost for something that is not too important, because Fable, as I've shown you, is quite expensive. So you can control to what depth you want the output to be in. The fourth point is, if you can give it some sort of self-analysis or some sort of example on what good means, it performs extremely well. For example, if you're creating a software, right, you're like, hey, a good one is when it has less than 0.000 not errors found, or this. If you give it some sort of some sort of self-verification steps, right? It tends to perform extremely well. So the fifth one is giving it good examples. So just like any good prompt, if you give it good examples, like, hey, a good pitch deck looks something like this, a good copy looks something like this, a good framework is something like this, it performs extremely well because it has the end goal, it knows what good means. It's going to start performing it better. So the last thing I want to go over with you guys is how to properly effectively use Fable so you don't have to spend too much money in credits and tokens, right? So the best way, if I were you, the way I would use Fable is let Fable do the thinking. So thinking is the person who thinks the most is the one that makes the most money, but the person who executes isn't. That's the way capitalism works. You guys, okay, it's always the boss who does the make decisions and takes the risks, does it, but the people who actually do the stuff is not the one who is paid the most. The same logic applies in here as well. So let Fable do the thinking, do the architecture, do the planning and the strategy, but the workers, the ones who are actually implementing, you can delegate it, the cheaper models. You can use Opus or Sonnet or even Haiku. I mean, I wouldn't trust Haiku. Haiku is shit. So this Sonnet, Opus are more than good enough for you to maybe create a pitch deck once the plan is created, right? Let Opus or Sonnet create the designs for you, create the graphics for you, unless, remember what I said, you need that edge. There is no clear difference, right? You saw the website that I showed you. There is not a lot of difference in here. There's not a lot of difference in here. The only thing is it's somewhat a bit slightly better. So is 3 times the cost worth it for slightly better? No, I wouldn't think so. So use Fable for planning and strategy and architecture, while use cheaper models for you to do the execution. Like, the Fable plans the stuff, you use other models to execute. And remember, Fable is extremely good in checking and verification and finding bugs and debugs. Let Fable review the stuff and give you suggestions, then go back to the worker and do it better. So that's what I would do if I were you. So that is a proper way on how you can use Claude Fable over using it like a chat GPT. If you want more videos where I break down AI tools, AI workflows, business systems, then subscribe, because this is all I post. This is all I talk about, and I love doing these things. Alright guys, I'll see you on the next one. If you are interested in knowing if Fable is better over ChatGPT's Soul that just got launched a few days back, I'm going to attach the video right somewhere in here, right? I don't know, wherever my editor puts it, somewhere in here. Click on that video and I'll see you on the next video. Talk to you soon. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.